Hello, all you lovely people out there. It is Red Reddington here. It is Saturday, the 19th of January 2019. I am here with Samoan Driver. Say hello, Samoan Driver.
It's fucking cold here in Oklahoma.
That's
It
that's
is
not that's
fucking
not
cold.
hello. That is not hello. That is not hello. But how close are you to like Ada, Oklahoma? Because I've been watching The Innocent Man on Netflix, and all I hear is like Ada, Oklahoma these
Well,
days.
let's see here. Let's get ourselves a little bit of our bearings via Google Maps. Ada is actually just southeast of here by,
Okay.
I believe, let's go ahead and highball it, say like 80 to 100 miles. It's literally
Okay.
like maybe an hour and a half drive.
Okay, there you go. So anyone in Aiden now knows how to get to Samoan Driver and kill him. This is the No Show, and despite what it may seem, we are here to talk about the last week of of wrestling. We're going to be covering Raw, SmackDown, talk a little bit about the upcoming Rumble and Takeover cards that have been set up, as well as delving in to $5 Wrestling's maybe show, which was, I believe, nominated by Swerveface last week. I think
Yeah.
Swerveface nominated that show. So thank you for that, you bastard. So we're here for we'll be here for the next couple of hours to go and do that, and we'll take some calls towards the end of the show. So do you want to get things underway? Simone Driver, go through. Let's have a jaunt through Raw.
All right, I'm going to warn everybody right now. I left all of my show notes at work. For some reason, I
Oh
left
shit.
I've got a personal notebook of like all the important shit I do, including these reviews. That's at work. We're not doing any ratings. If y'all want, I can put it up on the fucking Discord later on. But we're just going to take just a little bit of an abridged jaunt. Opens up Braun Strowman's talk. He's going to win the Universal title. Baron Corbin comes out, talks shit. Uh, he basically goes out to where Corbin's hiding in a limo. Now, keep this in mind. Keep this limo in mind. So Strowman just completely fucking destroys this thing. Vince McMahon comes out, asks why he destroyed his limo, finds him $100,000. Strowman talks shit, and he gets pulled from the Royal Rumble match for the Universal title. So obviously he's not cleared to compete. And again, they've kind of booked themselves into a corner to where, okay, if they want to keep the title on Brock in case he faces Daniel Cormier, if that's still fucking going on, I don't know.
Have you
They want
heard Observer Live recently?
uh
Okay, so I have some extra knowledge here. So apparently,
mm-hmm.
this is more due to the fact that over the holidays, Vince had a change of heart. This apparently goes into the whole thing of their like New Year plan to turn things around, and basically they decided that I've just realized I think I've just spelled your name wrong on the Go Live notification. I think I've put Sam Moan Driver. So that would
Sam
Sam Moan. Samone. I don't know. Or maybe it is Samoan. I don't know. Oh, it is right. It is right. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So basically, they just, from what I understood from from what Dave Meltzer said, was basically Vince felt that beating Strowman at the Rumble was the wrong thing. They aren't happy with Strowman 100% yet, so they're not going to take the title off Brock. They don't think it's right to beat Brock at the Rumble. They think it's a Mania thing to do.
Yeah.
Equally, they didn't want to do a DQ finish at the Rumble because, as we know from past years, the Rumble tends to be a bit of a tensious point between fans and the WWE. So apparently, this whole thing with Balor's appearance at Takeover in the UK and this Raw was all to build Balor up to face Brock at the Rumble. So apparently, with Strowman's injuries, apparently he hasn't yet been cleared as such, but it's less to do with Strowman's injury, more to do with them pushing Balor, basically.
Yeah, because it's about time they pushed Balor, in my opinion, because, he's a workhorse. I mean, hell, he won the Universal title first. He is insanely over. Even he would not lose anything unless they absolutely book him like shit afterwards. He wouldn't lose anything by losing to Brock. He's obviously given up a lot of size, a lot of mass, a lot of strength. Then again, Daniel Bryan pulled out an insanely good match with Brock. So if these two can work together, it could be a good match. I'm not expecting Balor to win. I'm still thinking Braun's going to win. Like you said, probably at but if what Meltzer and what the Observer's saying is true, that's actually a pretty good reason why to hold off on all that, in my opinion. But then again, opinions are like assholes, and I'm one of them. So let's see here. So, anyways, we go out to the ring. Sasha Banks, Ronda Rousey versus Tamina and Nia Jax. Banks actually taps out Tamina with a bank statement. Rousey and Banks, they go through. They yah a bit. Go backstage. Bailey and Natalya later on backstage, they start bickering over who's fucking riding the entire thing. Riot Squad comes up to challenge them in a 6-woman tag. More about that later. The Revival defeat Lucha House Party. I believe Grand Metalik and Kalisto was wrestling in that. Metalik gets hit with the DDT, but ref doesn't see the foot on the rope. So, hey, Revival actually gets one in their favor after being screwed over all the fucking time.
50-50 booking.
Oh, it fucking sucks. Backstage promo, and I don't know why. Well, no, this actually isn't this. This is over on SmackDown. I'll get to that later on. EC3 is shown backstage as one of the stars trying to vie for Lesnar's title. Vince hits the ring, and before he even says a word, John Cena interrupts him.
The meme has entered real life.
Yes. So Cena pulls
it should have started actually on the trumpet bit. It should have just gone straight into the trumpet bit, or actually, and his name is John Cena.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to do that before.
Yeah.
Like when the meme was big and popular, or like the 6 months after it was dead, knowing Vince. I'm surprised they haven't tried to do that sooner.
Well, they did a thing where they had people stand in front of a poster of John Cena and talk about why they loved John Cena, and then John Cena burst through with a marching band playing his theme.
Yeah,
and I know they did that. I remember that, but that's about it.
I'm shocked they have something like that on Raw.
Yeah.
Pulls a promo out, kind of goes back to harken to ruthless aggression. I don't know if he got a haircut, but goddamn it, he needs to cut his fucking hair. He's getting that old man bald spot like on the top at the back of his head, and I can talk shit on this because I'm practically bald on top myself.
Yeah.
But so anyways, Drew McIntyre comes out, Baron Corbin comes out, Finn Balor comes out. McMahon announces a fatal 4-way for the number 1 contendership at the Rumble. Jinder Mahal goes backstage and somehow weasels his way into a match with Finn Balor. Whoever wins that goes on to the fatal 4-way. Bayley and Natalya versus the Riot Squad. Their mystery opponent is Swerveface. Yes, he has made his official debut in the WWE Raw Women's Division, and is actually pretty like. Would have liked to see Nikki Cross make a debut with Sanity on SmackDown, but we'll kind of see how that goes. Liv Morgan gets pinned by Bayley for the win. Lacey Evans is shown backstage. I haven't seen much of her, but I like by her vignettes, her character intrigues me for some reason. I kind of like it. Finn Balor defeats Jinder Mahal to remain in the Fatal 4-Way. He gets absolutely just butt wrecked at the beginning. Samir Singh catches him off guard. Mahal cheap shots him before the match, beats the shit out of him. Balor comes back and wins it. Intercontinental Championship and the Jobber Championship, the LOL Wrestling Jobber Championship, Dean Ambrose defending the IC title. Seth Rollins defending the Jobber Championship. Bobby Lashley in there with those glorious glutes. Lashley ends up pinning Dean Ambrose with Spear for the win to gain the Intercontinental Championship. And actually, because Ambrose took the fall, wouldn't Ambrose become the Jobber Champion, or does the champion have to pin the loser?
Champion has to pin or submit the loser. You have to win.
Okay.
You have to win a match to lose the title.
All right. Because
That is the ruling.
he wasn't involved in the decision, so I didn't know
No,
exactly how that went.
no. So Seth Rollins retains the Jobber Championship. Currently the longest reigning Jobber champion. But then again, Dean Ambrose was only champion for about 2 hours. So
Right. So up next, Alexa Bliss with a moment of bliss. Paul Heyman comes out. Bliss announced at the Elimination Chamber 3 Raw women's tag teams and 3 SmackDown women's tag teams will compete for the first Raw women's tag team titles. These titles look sexy as fuck. I fucking love these titles. Like, I am fully expecting they're going to take about the same mold, drop the women out of there, and reskin the Raw and SmackDown tag titles. They really need to do so, because those penny belts, they need to go.
the thing that I looked at when I saw those belts was like, they looked like they were supposed to be, because they're in like the shape of an X.
Mhm.
And I was like, they were going to be your NXT women's tag team title belts, weren't they? And
Probably.
and they've just gone, no, we'll do this on the main roster because women
Yeah.
inclusiveness needs to be on the main show.
It makes sense in that sense, you know, because they do have, compared to previously, they do have a pretty strong women's division and pretty fleshed out women's division, especially with all the call ups. But at the same time, you know, how are they going to do this with the brand split? Are they going to do it, you know, kind of like a undisputed championship? If they do that, are they going to do that with the women's title, the WWE Universal title, the men's division tag teams?
No idea on that front. It's an interesting point, because obviously at that point you're then looking at. I mean, the thing is I'm getting the feeling that they are softening on the brand split a lot. Like I can imagine that we're possibly going to see a more unified front. I don't know. Maybe they'll keep the roster exclusive. Maybe they'll defend it all on one show. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because they've got, and like I said with the women's division, they've got a really deep roster for both Raw and SmackDown. So to put everybody on one show again, that's going to way oversaturate just fucking everything. Which is why I think in today's, you know, WWE, they do need to keep the brand split just for that reason. But it'll be interesting to see where they go from this. But anyways, tag titles look sexy as hell. Heyman, again, he's out there. He's going to talk. He talks up the Raw's main event, Lesnar's potential opponents. And this, I don't know how to feel about this, but Otis Dozovic from Heavy Machinery comes out. I don't know if this is his gimmick from NXT, but it just looks fucking weird.
I missed this part.
Yeah, it's like right at the end. So I don't know if this is a gimmick, because I haven't caught much of Heavy Machinery. I mean, they look like the big lads tag team that we've been needing for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I kind of get almost like a Natural Disaster sort of feel off of them. Just how fucking big, and they're obviously more athletic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is that. And finally, number one contendership for the Universal Championship: Balor, Corbin, Cena, McIntyre. Finn Balor pins Cena after the coup de grace to earn the title match. Completely clean. No interference, no shenanigans. Pins Cena clean. And then Cena put the hell over afterward. You talked about trying to build up Balor. This is how you build up somebody, especially somebody insanely over as Balor, in a very short time frame.
Yeah, this was the sort of show that WWE would do back in the day. This was very much stacking the deck against Balor. He was attacked during his entrance by the Singh brothers. He then had a grueling match with um, uh,
Jinder.
Mahal, and
Yeah.
then he's basically picked on and beaten down by everyone else in the main event. It's very akin to kind of Bret Hart, King of the Ring, I think, and in that kind of sense of the babyface, or even Macho Man in WrestleMania.
Hmm.
The valiant babyface that stays the course during the entire thing. So I think it's a good sign. I think it's yeah, I think it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's I like the way that they did this. They need to build somebody up, and like you said, I'm going exactly what you said. It's a very good way to put somebody who's already over and just put them that much more, and basically put them in that main event spot in a very short time frame. Very interesting to see how they play off this next week, and very interesting to see if they end up having them do the demon paint at the Rumble.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Oh,
let's hit Smack. Good.
sorry, just on the demon pain thing. Did you hear Brian Alvarez go completely nuts about Mick Foley and Finn Balor?
Uh-uh.
Oh, this is the so they're doing the retro Raws, right? And there's a bit where Mick Foley to explain it better. So Mick Foley comes out and he's going to be doing his Cactus Jack return for the Rumble, and
Yeah.
he's pointing out that as Mick Foley he couldn't beat Triple H, but as Cactus Jack he can. And on the same show they showed a clip. The thing that got Brian angry was that on the same show they showed a clip of Mick Foley beating Triple H. So his statement was completely worthless. That's the bit that he's angry about. But they got into a whole discussion about how someone's attire doesn't necessarily doesn't change the physical attributes of them. But in kayfabe, it's the mindset. I guess
Yeah.
is the argument. Is that Balor's I think your argument has to be that Balor wrestles different. I think you could argue with Balor in terms of you would argue the Demon wrestles differently to Finn Balor, but then Finn Balor on the UK tour wrestled differently to Finn Balor on Raw. So, Lord knows what they're going to do with him.
We can discuss that, until the cows come home. But
Yes.
I mean, at the very least, it's for theatrics. It's a big match. So let's go to SmackDown. Becky Lynch rolls up a blacked out SUV like Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin in his old black truck from back in the day.
Yeah.
Fucking love this. Goes up to where like New Day and Heavy Machinery and Otis is putting like tuna and protein powder and shit into this shake, like blender, and trying to eat it. And the New Day is about to throw up. Becky Lynch walks up and Otis like, want a taste? So she actually takes a taste of this, and you can kind of tell she almost gags at this point. But no, her face is like completely stoic. Just that little bit of gag reflex that you catch. She's like, shit's weak, and just walks off. So, if they're playing, this is a great way. Like, if it was anybody else, this would have sucked. But for Becky Lynch, with her man gimmick, fucking perfect. Like, that was probably one of the highest points of SmackDown. We're already starting off. Anyway, she goes out, calls out Asuka. Asuka comes out, pulls a decently English promo, considering it's her fourth language or something. Iconics come out, interrupt them. Lynch challenges Peyton Royce to a match. Pretty decently long match. Royce gets tapped out to disarm her. Immediately afterward, Asuka gets a microphone, runs into the ring, and starts screaming at her in Japanese. Yeah. I have no idea what the fuck she's saying.
No.
But you can tell that she's fucking angry. Immediately calls out Billy Kay, taps her out to the Oscar lock within like 30 seconds.
Yes. Yeah.
Go backstage. Go ahead.
I thought this was I thought this was reminiscent of, and this is going to be a really weird comparison. This is going to be this. I thought this was reminiscent of when Buff Bagwell was feuding with Lex Luger. In that, it's two people who have very similar gimmicks in terms of that they are tough women who tap people out. And what I kind of wanted to see was I would have preferred this rather than being two matches. I would have preferred this to be just a straight tag team match where Becky just puts the Oscar lock on and just taps Billy Kay or Peyton Royce with the Oscar lock. And then Oscar gets all in her face and then just grabs like one of the Iconics tries to get out of the ring. She just steps on their arm and then does the disarmer in front of Becky. And like it's fucking on, you know? That kind
Nice.
of. I imagine they'll probably do it next week. I imagine they'll probably do the tag match next week, but this was really good for me. This was awesome.
Yeah. Even though it was a 30-second match, it was still serviceable. I couldn't take any points away from it for that, because, you know, it's trying to prove a point. AJ Styles interrupts the stare down, goes into the crowd, walks backstage, shows him up kind of at the concession stand, tosses t-shirts to fans, you know, he's like, eat what you want, drink what you want, you know, do what you want, just have fun. Which doesn't make sense considering Brian has a point that all that shit really is unhealthy as fuck, you know? So it's kind of like, whatever. Daniel Bryan jumps him, they have a brawl. Styles puts Bryan through the hot dog table, just full of hot dogs and nacho cheese and shit like that.
And tons of mustard.
Oh yeah,
Holy
tons of
shit.
mustard.
So much mustard got on Daniel Bryan.
Oh yeah. Like, I can once you see a table full of nothing but just random shit lying there, you know somebody's going to go through it.
Oh, we'll talk about that when it comes to the Miz segment.
Oh yeah.
That segment almost saved wrestling. Almost. Almost.
Okay, where are we at? Usos are shown backstage, and then Jimmy Uso receives a gift with a rose inside. And there's a note that's all not raunchy, but all sexy, like, I want you to lock me up in the Uso penitentiary and shit like that. Signed Mandy Rose with a hotel room key, like one of the key cards. I audibly groaned at work at this. Audibly. Like, my coworkers had to ask what the fuck was going on when I was actually, like, watching this. Anyway, actually, I think it was here to where Samoa Joe's walking backstage, kind of looks over, and there's EC3 posing in front of a mirror. It cuts back to Joe, and he's just like, what the fuck, man? Shakes his head and just keeps on walking. I don't know why, but I laughed my ass off at that.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe versus Mustafa Ali never gets started because Joe absolutely just annihilates Ali at ringside. The ring post, the turnbuckle post bumps that Ali was taking was fucking sick.
Oh yeah.
The way he sells this, glorious segment. The only thing I didn't like about that is that Joe left, said fuck it, come back, jumped him again, left a third time, came back, and just, instead of just putting him through a table or something, just throws him against the barricade. Ended on a lackluster note, considering that Joe is trying to literally kill this man. So it really wasn't. Yeah, I liked it too. It just wasn't as impactful as it was if you wouldn't have gone down that last time.
No, I think it was fine. I think what he was doing was like he put Mustafa between his legs, and then he looked up and realized that he was going to get and the crowd popped because they were like, oh, we're going to see someone go through the table. And Joe, like the smart worker, realized I'm the fucking heel, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to deny you your cool Instagram spot. You know, fuck you. No, I thought this was great. I think whoever the fuck agents Joe's this segment needs to go and speak to the Bludgeon Brothers, because they're fucking beatdowns were worthless. Like they were goddamn awful. And this, Joe in 5 minutes accomplished more than the Bludgeon Brothers did. No, I know it's Samoa Joe and it's Luke, and it's Eric Rowan, but seriously, you should be able to fucking this is how you do a beatdown. This is how you make people kind of stop and think, oh shit.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that from a point, especially from the heel psychology. Psychologically wise, you have a valid point. But if I'm doing a beatdown, even not putting him through the table, he's been beat to shit. You don't go back. Every time you go back, you kind of want to one up the ante almost. And even though, like not putting him through a table when you tease it is one thing, and I completely agree with you on that. If you're trying to send a message, you want to end on something highly impactful. Doesn't have to be flashy. But even if you would have just like thrown him against the barricade the second time and then threw him against the ring post for another, sell job,
sure,
that would have probably been a little bit better. But I mean, it's still a fantastic segment. Puts over as a monster heel, puts Ollie over as that baby face that you want to come back from the depths of, having his ass handed to him on a silver platter. It works. At this point, I'm just nitpicking it.
I think so I have two questions for you. Actually, one question with a little bit of a spoiler, okay? Did you prefer this Joe segment with him coming repeatedly back to the ring, or the Dynamite segment with him repeatedly coming back to the ring from $5 Wrestling?
Dynamite. And we'll get to that later on. We will get to that later on, because there is a very good reason for that.
Okay. Carry on. Sorry.
Next segment, Mandy Rose is shown backstage. Sonya Deville's like, chick, you just gave some dude your fucking hotel key. What the deuce? And Mandy's like, you really think something's going to happen? I just want to make Naomi's life miserable. Yeah, I want to go through with this. That's the entire segment. Again, audible groan.
Yep.
Match of the night. I almost want to go with you and say one, if not the best match that WWE's put on this year, one of the best matches that they will. Cia and Alma, who's apparently just Andrade now, over Rey Mysterio. Andrade hits the hammerlock DDT from the top rope for the pin, completely clean. Fantastic match. Started off slow, but hit that second gear, like relatively late into the match, but they just tore the fucking house down with this. CN looks like a goddamn star. He looks like $1 million fucking dollars in this.
Yeah. Mysterio was, I mean, this was I would say the closest to his early WCW run that I have seen from Mysterio.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was semi-clean. I mean, you got Vega on the ropes, which is kind of cool because it at least puts over that, even though Andrade had a really good match and should technically be seen as a babyface because he wrestled, rather than cheat, he did get the victory via cheating, so that's kind of cool. My worry with this kind of thing is when two guys like this go out and have a really good match, that the heel just does cool shit because he's in there with someone like Mysterio, and you just completely lose that dynamic. But no, they kept the dynamic and it was good. This was a fucking delight to watch.
Yeah, I mean, Rey Mysterio, he's obviously not going as fast as what he used to be, but considering his age, considering all the injuries, he's still in damn good shape. Yeah. So this is the Rey Mysterio that we love. And I think he could still go for many years after this. Andrade, again, I can honestly see him. I think he's going to get a U.S. title reign sooner than later. Maybe not until Mania, but he's going to have a hell of a 2019 if he keeps this up.
Yeah. His promos might hurt him, but I mean, there's,
with somebody like Zelina Vega, his promos don't necessarily matter. Because Vega is that good on the mic. I kind of have to compare it to Heyman and Lesnar. Lesnar can cut a promo, just like CN can. It's not going to be the best promos. But when you get their mouthpiece on the mic, it puts them, from about 10 feet off the ground to the fucking stratosphere.
Which is
They're
impressive
that.
for Vega.
I mean, go ahead.
Because she's so small. That's what I was.
Yeah. I mean, Vega's obviously not on Heyman's level, don't get me wrong, but
No.
she's amazing she's amazing as a manager. So after this, Jimmy Uso goes to Mandy Rose's hotel room, cuts commercial, comes back, he finally grows the balls, get in there. A photographer, Mandy Rose is sitting there in like a silk gown, like silk robe. Opens up, and it's not the most revealing lingerie, but you can tell she's looking good in it. I'll give her that. She gets up close to Jimmy Uso. Photographer runs in, snaps photos, almost comedically, like runs in, snaps 3 or 4, and just like shags ass out of there. And Jimmy's like, "What the fuck is that?" Mandy's like, "You really think something was going to happen? No. I'm just trying to get it, Naomi. And now I'm going to ruin your marriage. So what are you going to do about it?" So he just kind of sits there stroking his beard. All right. And just walks out. And Mandy's like, "Wait, that's it? That's this entire payoff?" The door opens. She goes white as a ghost, and there's Naomi. And they have a fucking cat fight. Now, when I say cat fight, it's compared to the cat fights that we saw in the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression, this was actually done good. It wasn't sexually over the top. It just wasn't like, just for the sake of ass and titties. With the exception of the cell jump from Naomi at the end, which make no sense to me for some reason. This was a very good cat fight for what it was worth. It made sense with the storyline. It wasn't gratuitous. It wasn't, I don't want to say misogynistic, but you kind of get the point here. It was a decent payoff. For somebody who doesn't even fucking like this storyline, it was a pretty good payoff. So, they did a good job here.
I really hope that Mandy Rose comes out next week and someone serves Naomi with criminal damage to the hotel room.
Yes.
Even though nothing was damaged, I hope that that's where, because that's such a heel thing to do.
Oh yeah.
It is like get the bill for damage to your hotel and then sue someone else for it.
And yeah, that'd be completely understandable in this situation, and it'd be, just that much more on top of this to actually pull this fucking story out of the shithole that it has been. I like heel Mandy Rose. When she's acting all ditzy and trying to be all sexy, like, she was absolutely incorrigible. Almost to the point of Eva Marie. Almost. But now that you can kind of see that she's kind of like this scheming, conniving witch, she's kind of on me a bit.
I could honestly see her pulling off some sort of like female Goldust kind of stuff, because she did tag with Goldust for a bit. So I am perfectly fine if random wrestlers on the roster just get boxes that just contain rose petals and they just look fucking confused. I'm happy with that. I'd be happy with that for like 6 months. That would be great.
It would be it'd be a great gimmick for her to put her over as this psychotic kind of, heel woman. It would absolutely work.
So now do we move to the segment that saves wrestling?
Oh yes. I'm going to preface this by saying it was cringe. This entire storyline is cringeworthy, the way Miz is sucking up with Shane. But it's been entertaining.
Yeah, it has been hilariously entertaining.
So Miz comes out. It's the bestie birthday bash. Shane comes out. He gets this, I don't know if these are real Jordans, and I forgot the exact model that they are, but they're some pretty fucking slick shoes. And this comes from somebody who isn't a sneaker nut. There are 2 cakes, not 1, but 2.
2 cakes.
From the best bakery in Stamford, Connecticut. Sparing no expense. And the hype package that they have is actually really good. Like, it was a pretty good, it's a top-notch video package from the production team. It kind of shows where this entire thing is going.
Oh, yeah.
like it's been telegraphed from like a mile away. It's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, but it's entertaining. Like you can't not watch it.
But the great thing about it is because it is obvious to us as an audience, and it's dramatic irony is that we know that Miz is a disingenuous shithead, and he's literally just doing this to because Shane took his opportunity away from him. We know where this is going. They are drilling it into our heads, but no one is stating it. No one is. If this had been like Raw 3 years ago, it would have been, Michael Cole would have just been every 5 minutes been like, yeah, but you can't trust Miz. You can't trust Miz. Why is Shane trusting Miz? Miz is such, Shane's such an idiot for trusting Miz. And instead, it's just like, we'll just put it out there, and it's so obvious to all of us that when it eventually happens, we're like, you dumb idiot.
Yeah. It's a lesson in less is more.
Yeah.
If you keep it almost subliminal to where it's like I said, it's painfully obvious, but you don't point it out, it works a hell of a lot better than stating the fact vocally. It's kind of like watching a horror movie. You can see the killer.
Yeah.
The dumb bitch can't see the killer.
No.
Bitch gonna get shanked.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, anyways, they go down there. They have like a nice little, feel good moment. The bar comes out. Shane, kind of like how Miz called them out for the tag titles at the Rumble, Shane calls out Sheamus for Miz to face him. Now, Miz, not dressed to wrestle. I think he's still wearing like dress shoes. But they go ahead and have this match. So props to Miz. He's not my favorite wrestler. He's not the best wrestler, but fucker can work.
Mm.
Sheamus gets distracted by Shane McMahon after he puts Cesaro through a caked table on the outside.
Oh, the tears in my eyes. I think it's one of these things, right? Where, and I'm sure science will prove this to be true, that if every single week on a wrestling show, someone went through a table with a cake on it and got cake on them, wrestling would be saved. Wrestling would be on a hot streak again, and the Attitude Era would come back. Roman Reigns would be healed from cancer. It would all be it would just be beautiful. AEW would become the next WCW, and there'd be a Monday Night War again. I mean, be honest, Simone Driver. Which show did you prefer this week, SmackDown or Raw?
Oh, SmackDown by a mile.
And how many people went through tables with condiments or food items on them on Raw?
Zero.
Well, no, that's not actually true. Technically, Sunil Singh did very early on in the show.
Well,
but he didn't go through the table. He just went across the table. And how many people went through tables with condiments or food items on them on SmackDown?
3 that I can remember. I don't know if Mandy. Well, they didn't go. She didn't go over a table, so definitely 3.
There you go. Scientific proof. Put people through tables with food on them, and it's golden.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, because we only counted 2. Afterwards, Sheamus tries to attack Miz. There's technically only 2. Because what put the icing on the cake, pardon the words, is that Miz grabs the chocolate cake on the outside. McMahon goes to the top rope. Miz puts the cake in front of Sheamus, and we get a coast-to-coast birthday cake all over the great white Sheamus. That right there. If it was anything else, I would have been complaining because this is something you need to save for the Rumble. But with the birthday cake,
Yeah.
how the hell are they going to top this at the Rumble? It still works. I'm happy with it. I am overjoyed and giddy with glee. But how the hell are we going to one up this over at the Rumble? Are they going to do it with a 3-tiered wedding cake?
Oh
And they're
God,
going to have to
please.
spend are they going to have to spend hours flipping over the match like WCW Bash at the Beach 2000? To where there's just cake all over the mats and they couldn't afford a fucking mop or a
Yeah,
water bucket?
I don't
Are we going
know.
to be having this? Either way, I enjoy this.
Was
Great way
was
to end SmackDown.
was Shane wearing his new shoes?
No, he's not.
Okay, because I was going to say if he was, technically that could be like an even subtler heel turn for Shane. Is that Miz put the cake in the way, and now Shane, if Shane was wearing his new shoes, Shane would have ruined his shoes.
Yeah.
So it could have been a subtle heel turn there. So that was
But
SmackDown.
yep. SmackDown, obviously the better show. I think I rated this off the top of my head. If you really want to know, I can put the shit in Discord later on. I think I rated this like a 3.15, whereas I think Raw was at a 2.68.
Intriguing.
Yeah. I'm not 100%. Get back to me on Tuesday after the federal holiday and I'll put it up there. But yeah. Both shows were better than last week, but SmackDown just that much better.
Nice. So let's have a quick chat about the upcoming. We'll just do a quick rundown of the upcoming pay-per-view cards that are going to be, I think, next Saturday and Sunday. We'll probably discuss them more in depth on that show. NXT Takeover Phoenix has got Matt Riddle versus Cassius Ohno. NXT North American Championship Ricochet Johnny Gargano. The Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong defend their NXT Tag Team titles against the War Raiders of Hanson and Rowe. And the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler defends against Bianca Belair. Or Belair, I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Makes more sense. And the NXT Championship, Tommaso Ciampa defends against Aleister Black. What do you make of that card?
Pretty good. I'm not too familiar with Bianca Belair, with the exception that she has a fucking glorious ponytail that she could probably whip people to death with, like Sindel off of Mortal Kombat.
She does.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, she does in her matches. She actually uses it as an offensive weapon.
Well, no, it's part of the body. It's not a
It's not a foreign
brace or
object.
anything.
It's not a foreign
No?
object. If the referee, I mean, the argument I've heard from referees is that you can't choke someone with your singlet. That's illegal.
Yeah.
But they can't technically remove your hair from the ring. So it's like it's one of those things where they can give you a count of 5 on it. They can't like fully
Straight up
disqualify.
Yeah. Especially since it's not like hair extensions.
Yeah, it's not. It could be unintentional. You could argue.
Yeah. But I want to see her like wrestle a full match, but that looks sick. Ricochet and Gargano, that's going to be amazing. UE, War Raiders, good. Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno, that's going to be a fucking war. Ciampa and Black, I am a wet with perspiration. It's almost every NXT Takeover show is just full of fucking hype. This one's going to be no exception. I think we're going to see some big shit out of this.
The other important thing to mention is that the theme songs for this are "Holding My Breath" by Alien Weaponry and "X" by Poppy. And I'm not sure if Triple H knows about Poppy, but he mentioned her on Twitter, and she then tweeted him a picture of her bass guitar, which has, and this is amazing, 3 pictures of Triple H to make a triple Triple H.
Oh god. Oh god. Where the fuck is Dark Matrix? Matrix, why are you trying to subliminally take over NXT?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Triple H thing. No, just fucking no, man.
No.
That's how bad things happen.
Where's the shovel? I don't know where the shovel is. I imagine it's a shovel. Yeah, Matrix is currently sitting in stream chat with his microphone on. I don't know if he's aware of this, but Matrix's headset is on. So feel free to jump into the. You won't be able to because you're not the current people, but feel free to go listen to the Matrix household, and you can hear the dulcet tones of Dark Matrix. Okay, so Royal Rumble, Rusev Nakamura for the United States title. As we previously mentioned, the Bar defend their SmackDown Tag Team Championships against Miz and Shane McMahon. Ronda Rousey defends her Women's Championship against Sasha Banks. Asuka against Becky Lynch for the Women's Championship on SmackDown. Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles, the WWE Championship. Buddy Murphy taking on Akira Tozawa, Hideo Itami, and Kalisto for the Fatal 4-Way, a Fatal 4-Way match for the Cruiserweight Championship. Brock Lesnar defends against Finn Balor, and then we have the 30-man and 30-woman Royal Rumble matches for the respective championship matches on the Royal Rumble. Yes, the Fatal 4-Way Championship. It sounds like something we'd probably end up doing on stream. So far, 18 entrants out of 30 announced for the Rumble, and 15 out of 30 for the Women's Rumble. You can see them on Wikipedia and WWE.com. What do you make of the Rumble so far as it stands?
I kind of honestly shocked. As much as I'm really enjoyed that there wasn't a Rusev Nakamura angle on SmackDown. Kind of shocked that there wasn't. Everything else, Ronda and Sasha, they've got to do something next week to really build some heat for this. Besides that, it honestly looks like a solid card. One of the most solid cards that we've had in quite a while. One of the first years to where we don't know. I have no idea who's going to win the Men's Rumble or the Women's Rumble. Like, it's kind of really open at this point. That there's 12 entrants left. Expect some NXT calls. Expect some probably some classic returns. Let's see. Women's Rumble. There's definitely going to be some people going to be making returns. And again, obvious NXT call-ups. It's still the second year in, so we don't know exactly how they're going to book it. Everything being said, again, it's one of the few months to where the main roster pay-per-view is just as, I wouldn't say it's as hype, but it's potential of the NXT pay-per-view from the previous night, in my opinion. So, looks solid in my opinion.
Yeah, it looks like a very solid card. So we've delayed this as much as we possibly can. So last week, so every week we kind of ask people to suggest shows for us to go and watch and review. Our first show we did, we called out, and Raspy kindly recommended a Danish wrestling promotion called Body Slam Wrestling, who were very kind enough to give us a couple of retweets and stuff. So that was nice, and thank you very much, Body Slam Wrestling. A show that I said was not necessarily spectacular, but not necessarily terrible. I said maybe go out of your way to watch it if you're a Danish speaker, and maybe watch some of their more recent shows that are in English. Last week, Swerveface recommended that we go and watch the latest $5 wrestling show called Maybe. I'm just going to throw it out here. I think Swerveface should be banned for at least a year of recommending shows. I have seen the best wrestling match and the worst wrestling match of 2019 in one day. I saw Rey Mysterio versus Andrade, and I have seen this show. Yeah, so let's go through this. $5 wrestling, maybe. I don't know when this was filmed. The date and all the trailers said 3rd of January was the official release date, so I don't know when this was filmed. I don't know if it was 2018 or 2019. I'm going to say it's in 2019. So we open with our commentators, Marty DeRosa and Colt Cabana, on commentary. Apparently, there was so much demand for this show that they had to bring it out. Who are you people? I don't know who you are. And the ellipsis of it's ... maybe is all Colt Cabana's fault because he decided just to say that. So the way this works is there are 5 matches. So each match is apparently worth $1, including, and this is the match they decide to put over first, a 4-man battle royale. A 4-man. At that point, I was like, I know. No, I do not want to experience this show. At this point, Marty DeRosa flat out admits that he has no idea what any of the other angles on the show are, other than it's Dynamite's last match, and the main event is Freight Train versus Big Donnie. So I said I wrote this very late in my notes, but I will say this early on. This is $5 wrestling, but 0 fucks given. This is not good. So the two, just to show you how little these guys knew about this show, and how well this has been put together. Colt Cabana ends the segment by saying, "Let's take it to the ring." We go backstage. Or the backside, apparently. Jake Manning is with Little Donnie. These interviews make you question. This was the point where I started questioning this show, okay? Because I will always compare wrestling shows to other things that I have seen, and I can categorically say I've seen some really bad live shows. I often get given tickets to go and see these local kind of independent shows where there's like one WWE star and then a bunch of English wrestlers who aren't good enough to be on Progress. And they are dire shows. Oh my Lord, they are dire shows. There are kids that are so disappointed that John Cena isn't actually there. It's heartbreaking sometimes. This was worse. This was much worse. Little Donnie basically spends about 2.5 minutes talking about his T-shirt. It's a Caleb Conley T-shirt, who is apparently the ring announcer. He has a mystery partner that he doesn't even know. This show's killing me, and I'm only on my second paragraph. I'm having flashbacks. Apparently, Donnie's going to be doing some high flying tonight. At this point, I get the feeling, right, that there are like 2 levels of intelligence on this show. There are those that are literally just shitting with, that are literally just pissing around with the people who are on this card. And then there are the people on this card who don't know any better. And I look at Jake Manning and I just think, you are like the kid that hangs around with the socially awkward kids at school and gets them to shout swear words during lessons, and then they get kicked out and you get to laugh at them and feel cool. I don't know. It just felt this show made me depressed by the end of it, basically. So we go to the ring finally. It's the Burke County Boys versus Little Donnie and his mystery partner. Donnie is out first, and then in the most inexplicable way possible, the backs of the commentators are spliced in bottom right of the show. They just appear. It's the backs of for the rest of this show, you have got the back of Colt Cabana's head and the back of Marty DeRosa's head for the entirety of the show in the bottom right corner. And I don't know what they were trying to go for here. There was no visual comedy that was going on, apart from maybe one point when they dabbed. But Jesus Christ. So his mystery partner is White Mike, who looks like Bo Dallas and Mick Foley had a child and then put Rob Van Dam's singlet on him. Again, the lack of notes on this show Marty DeRosa just straight out says, "There's a man in a fedora at ringside. We're going to call him Fedora Frank," because they don't know who it is. We break kayfabe for a point where they point out that if you smoke a cigarette for theatre, it is perfectly fine to smoke indoors, which is a true fact. You are allowed to do that if it is required as part of the theatre. Then yes, you are allowed to do that. So this is the point where again I started questioning what was real and what wasn't. So the Burke County boys, I should say, are Terry Houston, who is wearing who's a large man wearing camouflage, because of course, if you're a large man, much like the Dudleys in the Big Show, you have to wear camouflage.
Of course.
And is described as a white New Jack.
I laughed my ass off at that.
And Pork Chop, who has apparently been in prison since.
Yeah.
I tried my best every time there was some sort of in-joke reference on the show to try and Google search it and find out whether this was true. I found nothing. My research was in vain, and I am a man that can find things on the internet at times.
But apparently the North Carolina Parole Board are $5 wrestling fans. So
yes.
Pork Chop did get his sentence communed, or whatever it's called, just so he could wrestle at this event. So
I got my only screen cap of the entire show that I decided to take because it was beautiful. There is a low blow at one point straight in front of the referee, and the referee looks at both wrestlers as if to say, "The fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? You've done this right in front of me, and I can't call it because the match must continue." Colt Cabana does some political commentary stand-up about non-gender specific bathrooms. It's not funny. We have what is potentially hilarious, the slowest hot tag ever. I don't know if this was worked or if this was shoot. I don't know, but Little Donnie gets the hot tag. And you know the spot in Chikara where they do like the slow motion thing? It was slower than that. This guy was so slow. There was a failed double whip do-si-do spot. Donnie gets poked in the eyes. I have no idea how this happened. He then attacks Mike accidentally, and then there's a double team by the Burke County boys, and this is over. What do you want to say about this?
0.5 out of 5. At first, when everything first got off, I wrote down, literally, this is what I put down: shockingly great fundamentals. 5 seconds pass, ... and I was wrong.
Yeah. This was awful. This was like, you were I was kind of like, okay, it's a bit southern. I can deal with it. It's going to be a bit of wrestling. But I mean, okay, Donnie was a solid hand in the ring. Like, he was all right, but gassed out. Like, this guy was huge, and he's little Donnie. He's little Donnie. Bear this in mind when we get to Big Donnie in the main event.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Post-match, White Mike gives Donnie the kiss of life, and Donnie gives him a stunner in return.
Yep.
Brilliant. Hard cut to Jeff Hart versus Aftershock. Jesus Christ. Aftershock looks like Vader and Bam Bam Bigelow had a baby.
Yeah.
At one point, they actually insinuate. I wrote this down, and then Colt Cabana insinuates that Bam Bam Bigelow traveled around the North Carolinas, impregnating women, including whoever Aftershock's mother is. Jeff Hart.
I just want to say before this. Okay, you might actually be saying this. Go ahead. I want to see if I'm getting ahead of myself.
You go. Seriously.
The subtitles. The subtitles alone gives this match 5 points. Just off the top. So it can only go down from here. But yeah, go ahead.
So Jeff Hart cuts a promo, and he's like, I don't know if he's, again, much of this show is like, I am not sure how much is a work, how much is a shoot, but he cuts a promo that is like more rambling and nonsensical than fucking Jake the Snake Roberts Heroes of Wrestling. The subtitles just come up on screen to try and explain what's going on, and they don't. The words inaudible come up, and then just flat out the subtitles just say "I give up." Jesus. So who's the heel? Who's the babyface? I don't know. I don't even. Is Jeff Hart related to the Harts at all, or is this just? I don't know.
I think it's just an odd coincidence that,
Right.
or maybe Stu Hart had a coked up, methed up bender in Cameron, North Carolina one evening. You know, who am I to judge? But no.
So Jeff Hart is wearing the pink singlet with black pants, I guess. Jeff takes a walk for a 6 count. There's a series of roundhouse kicks to Aftershock. Aftershock is a big, impressive dude. He's impressively looking. Like he's got a good look in terms of being a big guy. He's round. He's not fat. He's the kind of shape you want a big man to be. But he is too big.
Yeah.
He is way too big. He doesn't have any fundamentals. He takes a series of roundhouse kicks and drops to one knee, and then Jeff just pokes him in the eye, and Aftershock no sells it. I was like, what? Most impressive spot of the match. Aftershock actually gets about 2 feet off the ground and hits a drop kick that misses completely, but Hart sells it.
Yeah.
Least impressive spot of the match. Jeff then does a missile drop kick from the top rope and completely misses. At some point, and I hate these people. There is a "This is awesome" chant from the crowd. This is what I wrote verbatim. Both men are fucked. Amazingly, the fans didn't die from asphyxiation from the amount of wind that these two wrestlers are sucking. They are. We get a Scotty Goldman reference showing that Colt Cabana still remains the saltiest man in the wrestling universe. Diving elbow miss from Hart for a double down. Drop kick to the face by Hart. Goes up top, gets bumped off the top. Jeff then inexplicably gets out of the ring, picks up a chair, and then sits down on the ramp, TJ Hooker style, before the referee gets to 8, and then just brings the chair in, and the referee tells him, no, you can't bring this in. Body slam by Aftershock, a cutter by Jeff Hart out of nowhere for a 3. And a few people give this a standing ovation. Who are you, and who hurt you? What did you make of this?
0 out of 5. 0.
So it went down after the subtitles.
I told you it could only go down from here, and good lord, like I'll give Aftershock this. At least he can jump and try a drop kick.
Oh yeah,
that was legitimately impressive. But apparently, sometime in here, Jeff Hart does a dab.
Yeah, at some point.
The only thing I can think about this is, like, the left flash videos where the bird dab checking.
Oh yeah.
Dab. It's literally what I put down there, just so I can get the image of this.
Oh, I remember what the spot was. He went up top for the diving elbow, but then he midway he turned, so it looked like he was trying to do DiBiase's kind of fallback fist drop.
Yep.
That he used to do, and they thought he was doing a dab because that's what the position was. He had one arm right out and his elbow back. So it looked like he was dabbing off the top rope. Maybe that's what he was doing. I don't know. Maybe I've seen too much wrestling to think these guys might have an idea what they were doing. Okay, Jesus Christ. So backstage with Raider Rock. I should point out, right? So visually, right, so far, I would say out of everyone on this show, the only people I think most of the people on this show, apart from possibly Jeff Hart, looked like they were wrestlers. Like in their gear, they looked like wrestlers. Possibly Little Donnie, not so much, but everyone else. So we cut to Raider Rock. He looks like Miss Finster from Recess. I swear to God. He looks like Miss Finster from Recess. He has got, I don't know whether it's a tumor or whether it's a thyroid problem, but he has got this huge lump sticking out on the left side of his neck. And he's got a title belt on his shoulder. And I'm like, you should not be doing anything physical. Like, I said this before the show, there was a serious amount of type 2 diabetes on this show. I can say that as a type 1 diabetic. I can recognize when someone is a type 2 diabetic because you just, you've got that kind of, you've got thinning hair, you've got a glazed look in your eye, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. And you're probably obese and overweight. And this guy just screamed, like it just screamed thyroid problem. That's a huge lump on the side of your neck, mate. Please go and get it seen to. So Raider Rock explains that the previous UCWF World Heavyweight Champion got in trouble with the law, and therefore the belt has been vacated. So there will be a Rumble match for the belt, and then the winner will have the unfortunate opportunity of facing him for the championship straight away. Oh my God. Was my response to this.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't the worst promo though. It wasn't the worst promo.
No, I mean
it was at least serviceable. I'll give him that. He doesn't deserve to be in a ring with a fucking tumor the size of Fort Lauderdale sticking out the side of his head, but at least he was serviceable on the mic, you know? I will give him that.
Oh God, right. So we go to the ring. And this is again where this is the moment when I decided that this show that no one on this show gave a fuck. This was the moment where you know, sometimes people come back for the money, but this is $5 wrestling, so there was no money to come back for. 4-man battle royal. Before he can even be introduced, Nosferados is just straight up thrown out of the ring. I can only assume that at this point they decided that whatever they were going to do, they were going to do this battle royal first, because technically it's an extra match on the card. Because I said it was going to be 5 matches, so we get this instead. And whoever this kid was must have been. And bear this in mind, by the way. Bear this in mind that this is a 4-man battle royal, okay? For later on in the show. This is 4 men. Nosferados must have been just some kid because they literally put like a Spider-Man mask on him and a shirt that was enough to kind of cover up the fact that he didn't have a working body. He just gets straight thrown out of the ring.
Yeah.
So the other 3 men in the ring are Psycho, King Jeremy Snaker, and Xavier Maxim. Out of the 3, Maxim is the only guy wearing wrestling gear.
Mm-hmm.
The other 2 are apparently tag team partners and are just wearing white t-shirts with red X's on them and trunks.
At this point, I have to pause before this even starts because I have no idea who these guys are. So I'm like, okay, there's a guy who looks like Marilyn Manson's methed up love child with Jillian Hall's tumor. So at this point, I'm like, okay, that has to be Nosferatu because he legitimately looks edgy. That would be a perfectly, I could expect a name like that out of him. Nosferatu is the guy in the Rey Mysterio mask, okay? So maybe this kid is Psycho? No, he is King Jeremy Snaker.
Yeah, Do you want to know what vibes I got of him? A very young Bradshaw. Like the long black showered hair and the weird beard. I mean, like nowhere near Bradshaw in any kind of physique, but
Yeah.
just like in terms of
I
his
can
face.
I can kind of see that, but at the same time, maybe Bradshaw, if he got into D&D way too early in high school, maybe I can throw you a stretch.
And played like an orc by barbarian who doesn't speak common, because he's like that. So King Jeremy Snake is Snaker is apparently the master of the DDT, which I learned very late on in this show, and I should have seen it. Should have seen it earlier. Is the only move that anyone on the $5 wrestling roster could be trusted to do with any proficiency. Psycho's gimmick is apparently that he falls asleep.
He is a narcoleptic.
Brilliant. Xavier Maxim is the only decent wrestler in this. I would say almost say on this entire show, and he is literally at points begging someone to do a spot with him. Like there are two guys in the ring. One guy he's working over. The other guy is pretending to be asleep, and he's like, "Just someone kick me. Someone do something to me, please. Like try and throw me out of the ring." It's amazing as the two tag team partners are unable to get any kind of advantage on Maxim. At one point, Jeremy goes for a Russian leg sweep, gets the arms all wrong, and almost breaks Maxim's arms just by falling back on it. A really nice super kick by Maxim to Psycho. Maxim throws Snake through the middle rope, and the referee says, "No, that elimination doesn't count." Everyone boos. Maxim then has to accept the referee pushing Snake back into the ring just to then throw him out again. At this point, I wrote, "This is paying your dues." Okay? I don't care what people think about NXT and brass rings. This right here is wrestling hell. Okay?
Yeah.
Is you throw a dude who isn't going to work with you out of the ring, and the referee tells you, no, that's not right. Work with him some more. Psycho gets put in a headlock. Psycho suddenly wakes up and then does the worst knees that you have ever seen. William Regal would find this man and kill him for the shittiness of his knee strikes here. It's like he forgot what his knee was or where his opponent was. So imagine running on the spot with one, like hopping on the spot. This is what this guy was doing. Like there was more effort into staying on one leg than anything else. So then Maxim does at this point, I thought to myself, well, clearly Maxim here is just going into business for himself, because clearly he's got to now somehow go like 10-15 minutes with Raider Rock after this battle royal, and he's just having his own way. And then literally as I wrote that, Maxim jumps over the top rope and eliminates himself. Leaving Psycho, who is asleep on the mat, knocked out, and now he is the champion. His partner, Snake, comes back down to the ring, hugs him for literally a second before he then kicks him in the head and then rips off his own shirt. Technically, this was a match, Samoan Driver. What did you make of it?
-2 out of 5.
Jesus Christ.
It was Maxim, God bless him, but this is just a train wreck from the word go. Just an absolute fucking nightmare. And it's only going to get worse.
Oh, yeah. So at this point, Raider Rock comes out. He's in a green singlet, and I mean like a moss green singlet. He's wearing a pink hockey mask, which he then takes off to reveal really, really badly done Warrior face paint. He hits a DDT. The referee counts 1, stops counting, then counts 2. So everyone thinks he's counted 3. So then Raider then gets a baseball bat and then uses it to crossface Psycho, who then submits to become for Rock to become UCWF champion. This was fucking horrible. This is the kind of shit that comes on when your dad walks in the room and you're watching wrestling. This is the kind of shit that comes on. This is the kind of shit that you leave on like Sky Sports or on your Sky box for your friends to find and go, "Oh, is this the shit that he watches?" This, fuck me. How many stars did you give this?
-3 out of 5.
No, you do not compare the New Day to this. You do not compare the New Day to this work. This is why you are getting a month ban, because you have no idea. The New Day did so much better stuff than this. You are getting a month-long ban from recommending anything on this show.
Oh, banhammer.
Anything on this show. Jesus Christ. This is, to be honest, I was mad at this point, right? But I was about to get even madder, right? Backstage with Dynamite. I'm panicking genuinely. This is verbatim from my notes. I'm panicking because there's 45 minutes left of this show on the clock and 2 matches to go. Help. Dino is retiring. He's 47 years old and has been wrestling for 15. You could have fooled me. He says, win, lose, or draw, this is going to be his last match. Did you see his title belt?
Yes, I did.
Oh my God. It says wrestling in like the letters that you used to use on videotapes to write what is on the videotape. And then it's supposed to say Dynamite, but the E has fallen off and it says Dynamite. It then has on one of the side plates 1, 2, 3, I win. This, right? I have seen, I've sat in sync tubes and I have watched 9 and 10-year-olds wrestle in yard tarred feds, okay? Even they did not go to these lengths. This is John Cena's Universal Cardboard Championship belt looked better than this. This looked so low rent. This was just bad. The interviewer at this point decides to rub salt in the wounds and brings up AJ Styles, who is 41 at this point. And Dynamite looks at him, and I swear the dude almost breaks in, almost tears up.
Yeah.
And says, yeah, but AJ Styles can do that because he's making money from wrestling, and I'm not. And it's at this point in the show where I was like, this is fucked. This is where I realized there were two sides to this promotion. There were the guys that want to wrestle and love them all you want, but there is not much going on upstairs, and they are basically being used by these promoters. And we talk about all the shit with people being paid in hot dogs and fucking merchandise and whatever. Like this here was like the last kind of like 15 minutes of The Wrestler for me. This was so fucking sad. And then the match happened. Dynamite versus X2. X2 is wearing a mask. He looks jacked. Dynamite is not. The crowd seem really hype for this. They're like, this is Dynamite's last match. Let's get into this. Let's do some clap-alongs. Let's do some chants. For the first time on this show, there is a lockup. We are, at this point, an hour in to an hour and a half show, and we get a lockup. There's some actual wrestling and some near falls. I was actually really enjoying this match. It was formulaic, and there's not much to talk about.
Yeah.
Dino's spending most of the time selling. The pace is super slow. And then after about 5 minutes, X2 just grabs a chair and just drives it into the back of Dino for the DQ. And that's the finish. They do a DDT to the X2, then picks him up, does a DDT onto the chair. Dino technically wins his last match by DQ without getting a lick of offense in this match, I would contend. Before we do the post match, how did you feel about this?
I'm giving it 5 out of 5 just for the retirement of Dynamite. God's blessed, he deserves it, especially after that promo. Honestly, it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. Yeah, the ending fell flat, but considering who was in the ring, is honestly a very, I wouldn't say it was a serviceable match, but it wasn't the worst match I've ever seen. I don't feel filthy for watching this match, if that makes sense. Right. It was decent.
It's probably the fact that I watched the Nigel McGuinness documentary, and then straight after that, I think someone put on Nigel's last match from. By the way, if you haven't seen the Nigel McGuinness documentary on the WWE Network, go and see it. It's. I think I mentioned. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or if I mentioned. I can't remember where I mentioned this, but go and watch it because Daniel Bryan flat out admits that he lied on his initial medical, which is fucking amazing that even made the cut.
Yeah.
But I watched Nigel McGuinness's retirement match, and it's a really great match. It's like it's everything you want from a retirement match, and this was not. And I kind of thought, okay, maybe they're doing an injury angle. Maybe they're like, oh my god, maybe it's like Brian Knobbs' exit from WCW, which I have to say is the best exit from professional wrestling ever. If you ever want to go and see it, it's I think it's the sold out pay-per-view. Meng grabs Brian Knobbs, throws him through a cardboard cutout of Goldberg, which he sells, and then Meng throws Brian Knobbs off a balcony. He's never seen on WCW television again. I think that is the greatest exit from professional wrestling ever.
Hell yeah.
2000, Raspy. 2000 sold out, I believe. You should know which one it is. It's a fatal 4-way hardcore match. I think it's the greatest exit from professional wrestling. This was not. Dino's music starts playing, and Dino just straight up gets up and starts dancing. I was like, the fuck is this? He makes a quick speech, and then this shit. So we talked about earlier about Samoa Joe coming back to the ring, right? Dino does some dancing in the ring. He dances with the fans. This is more work than he put into the match by far. This is more work rate than anyone else has shown on the card so far. He then goes to the back. He then comes back out again and dances with the fans a bit more and poses on the ring. And then he realizes he hasn't done his classic pose apparently with his jacket on. So he comes out and he does it again. Then he goes to the back. Then it turns out he's forgotten his belt. So when he comes back out, they play his music and he does it all over again. The entire shtick. Dancing with the fans. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, I am so glad you cut this into a montage. Because if I had to sit through, I could only, if this was me live at this event and he came back down, I would have clotheslined him on the ramp. Right? I would have turned heel. At this point, I turned heel on this show. I was already a heel. I turned a little bit babyface for this match, and then I went full-blown heel again. I was the Big Show in 2007 on this show. Backstage we go. Do you want to talk about the dancing? I don't know if you want to talk about the dancing.
No, he just pulled the James Brown shtick. Nothing really to talk about. It makes sense because it's his retirement. It didn't make sense for Joe, at least the last time, but it kind of makes sense because, he's retiring. He's beloved by the $5 wrestling fans. Let him have his moment.
Sorry, I'm now having an argument with Raspy about where I'm trying to remember where it was. I'm sure it was maybe it was Super Bowl. I don't know. Maybe it was Super Bowl. Maybe it was Sags. I can't remember. Let me look. I now have to know because you see, this is it's my. I know it's my forte though. I'm sure it was uncensored. Oh, maybe it was uncensored. Hang on. God damn it! I can't find it. I'll look for it later. Anyway, I'm sure it was Knobs. I'm sure it was Knobs got eliminated. Anyway, right, we go backstage with Big Donnie. And again, this is where my head started just like this was the point where I started questioning the motivation of the people that put this card together. Big Donnie, who has apparently been watching what he eats to get in shape. I am dreading this match. Freight Train comes on, does a couple of train comparisons, says buff don't mean anything. Yeah, this to me felt like this was. Like I've seen photos of bears dancing on hot coals. This was uncomfortable for me. Like I have met people. I have worked with kids who have learning difficulties, and I was looking at Freight Train. I was like, you're being strung along here. This was uncomfortable. And as much as you want to say, oh yeah, but it's fine, they know what's going on, it's like, yeah,
No.
do they? Because this was straight up. This was straight up someone taking the piss out of someone with a learning difficulty on camera. And I was really, really not fucking happy with this. Big Donnie is out in the ring already. He looks like Danny DeVito's Penguin. From Batman Returns. They bill him as £400. I do not think that is a shoot. Sorry, a work. I think that's a shoot. I think that's a genuine shoot number. One person starts a "This is awesome" chant. The opening move is a sup from Freight Train. This match was probably one of the better worked matches, but dear God, these men are just so slow. There's a lockup, back up into a corner. We get a kind of heel face establishing spot. Eye poke by Donnie. Donnie attempts a corner splash. Both men are so slow that Freight Train dodges literally at the last second, and Donnie just runs straight into his shoulder, and looks like he's knocked out. Camel clutch by Big Donnie. Freight Train gets to a knee, and before Freight can even stand up onto the second beat, Donnie just slops off. Big splash from Donnie. Freight Train gets out at 2. At this point, I wrote, I hate this. Freight Train with a cover from something. I don't know what it was. I was writing at the time for a 2. I didn't want to rewind and make this match drag on any longer. Freight Train sets up for his big forearm, where he literally runs across the ring at the speed of walking. BD pulls the referee into the way. The referee takes the bump. Suplex from Big Donnie to Freight Train. Second official slides in as BD locks in a crossface. The camera then just straight up pans to a shot of Dino and X2 unmasked leaving the building halfway through the main event. This was like the Bella Twins coming down to skip on the fucking the AJ. There was an AJ Page match, I think, and they just came down to the ring and just skipped around the ring to take the piss. I was like, this is not good. Third referee comes down. At this point, BD and FT are exchanging punches. Freight Train's punches are clearly making no contact. And at this point, Colt Cabana is like, look at the weight behind those blows. And I'm like, oh boy. So they then both, basically the referee then says, you've got to open these fists up and stop hitting each other. And so they hit the referee. The Burke County boys come down to the ring. Little Donnie comes to make the save. And then, remember that 4-person battle royal? How many people would you say came out for the run in here, Samoan Driver?
I'd say about 10 to 12.
I'd say at least 10 or 11 people come out, all wearing wrestling gear, all clearly capable of working to the point where they can pick someone to work with, get a move in, roll out the ring, and brawl to the back. Because this was literally in and out within, what, a minute?
Yeah.
Like the ring cleared within a minute. Some sort of choke slam by Freight Train. The cameraman puts on a ref shirt, only gets 2. This was the same guy who was the backstage interviewer as well. Big Donnie dodges the forearm, but hits it anyway for the 3. I have no idea what the finish was. It was just like, just end this. At this point, I just put the show into fast forward because I just didn't want to listen to Colt Cabana ripping the piss out of people that he is working with. There was an interview segment. I literally just watched it just speed by. I didn't even bother watching the interview segment that was at the end of this thing. This was a terrible fucking show. Sorry, what were your thoughts on this on the final match? Before I lay into the show.
All right, the Big Donnie interview. Oh gods, they're breeding. I didn't understand a fucking word he said. Freight Train. I'm a bit of a fan of Freight Train. He's endearing to me for some reason. Like, he's got a new fan. Like, I've caught a little bit of his stuff, like years ago when I used to frequent Woo, like, more often. But, like, I'm kind of a fan of a Freight Train. I'd work a match with him. I would seriously team up in a match with him. Here are my notes on the match itself. In regards to Big Donnie, dat fupa though.
That was not a fupa. That was not a fupa. That wasn't. That was. At one point I thought, oh, his singlet's a bit large, and then I realized, no, that's his actual stomach descending to his knees.
Yeah. The rest of my notes, there's apparently 15,000 plus posts on rule34.xxx of Bowsette. Not that I know or anything. That's how low I got during this entire match. Just remember what an Axe Bomber was. I actually had to look that up.
Nice.
Then all that. 5 out of 5. All nights. Fuck Tokyo Dome. Fuck Meltzer. Fuck Daniel Bryan. Austin. Rock. Mizawa. Nah, I give this 1 out of 5. It picked up, like, with as much as they're taking advantage of Freight Train, I honestly think that he could have a cult following if he did want to go to, like, WrestleCon or, like some big indie shows. If he was to come out, I think he would get, honestly, a massive cult following just because, he honestly loves what he does.
Yes.
So, like, he's a sweetheart. I think the wrestling community would put him fucking over if he, like, did a one-off with Cheeseburger at ROH, for example. Like, they need to book him. Like, everybody, talk to your local wrestling promotion and have them book Freight Train. God's bless him. He deserves it. He deserves every bit of recognition.
Yeah. The one thing I would say about this match is that between Big Donnie and Freight Train, this was probably the best worked match on the show. With what they had.
Yeah.
Dear God, this show was Oh my god, this is the worst show I've ever seen. I have seen a lot of WCW. I have seen a fuck ton of TNA. I've been watching wrestling for more than a decade now. Longer than I've been watching wrestling longer than bloody Dynamite has been wrestling. I can say this is the worst thing I have seen in terms of fucking promoter shittiness, actual match quality, the production, the commentary. I mean, this, like, you can make the argument it's $5. Okay, you can make that argument. It's $5, therefore you get what you pay for, right? I understand that. I really do. But, right, if you've ever gone and bought fucking value quality chicken soup from a supermarket, right? Right? Where it is literally water that might have been near a chicken for 2 minutes, and has some semblance of meat inside it. There is no reason for that product to exist other than people just want to see if they'll buy the shit because they had it, right? There is no reason for this product to exist. Okay? There is no reason. This is literally the lowest of the low in professional wrestling that I have seen. And I do not want to see it again. I do not want to see anything like it again, which is why Swerveface is now banned. And I'm almost tempted to say permanently banned from recommending shows. But I will give you a month to think about what you have done to me. Because I was so ashamed. I think that's the term I would use. I was shamed to be a fucking wrestling fan, and I was more shamed by the fact that I'd been given a free link to this show, and the free link went down before I could watch it. So I had to go and pay $5 for this show. I have funded this shit. So yeah, no, I'm tempted to go and withdraw my to withdraw my my money, but honestly, just no. Literally, this show was the no show. This was no. Like I get that there are people in this business that are green as grass, okay, and they need somewhere to learn, they need someone to work, and they need a place to do this kind of thing, right? But you don't need to put that shit on film and charge people for it, okay? I get that there are people like Freight Train who, you know, they love the wrestling business and they're not all there, but you don't need to put them on camera and make fucking jokes about them, their weight, their disabilities, and sit there like the smug, like Colt Cabana being a fucking smug cunt, as like, I am better than these people. Yeah, if you want to get to the level where you're sitting there and making fun of the mentally challenged just to say that you're better than people, spoiler, you're fucking not. Okay, you're not. So I'm sorry to get on my high horse about this, but this show, no, I don't want to see $5 wrestling anywhere near me or this show again. And that's my damn moment, if you want, for this. Hello, Too Many Quarks. You missed the $5 review. This should be up on YouTube probably when we're done. We've got about another 20 minutes or so. Couple of bits of news. Congratulations to we've got Swearface here. Congratulations to Swearface and Killian Dane for getting married over the last week. So congratulations to you two. Well done. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And of course, yes, your debut on the main roster. We did mention that earlier. I suppose the other big bit of news is there have been no ratings that have come in for the Pursuit Impact debut. Impact has moved to Pursuit. Their last episode on Pop did 151,000 viewers, which comparative to our 4 on Twitch. Hello, all 4 viewers. That's pretty good. But no, there is no number that has come in from Nielsen on this, which suggests it's just drop off. It has dropped off the Nielsen radar, which is a sad set of affairs, really, for Impact. Yeah, I brought the whole show down, haven't I? Really, on this point, yeah. Sorry about that. I had to have a little rant there about how I felt about 5-star wrestling. So, Swerve has now has had a month time ban. Apparently, according to Swerve here, the Twitch stream is hovering around 7,000 views, which for non-gaming is pretty good. That's pretty good for non-gaming. Yes, I've heard this. New Legacy have tweeted that they are going to be doing their own commentary on Impact, so that should be something to look forward to. So Raspy has had a go, Swerve has had a go, and has broke my mind. I guess we're going to be turning to Too Many Quarks here for what are we going to be watching this week. We might not necessarily review it by next week because next week's going to be the Rumble, but we will look for shows. In fact, so probably next week we're going to do a show that's going to be kind of similar to the call-in shows that we've done before for pay-per-views. So we're going to do probably a full-on Rumble and Takeover discussion, and we'll get people in on the air. We'll talk for the first hour, then we'll do calls for the second hour. Best in the Yard 4. Now, is that available anywhere? Or is that just, am I going to search for this and I'm going to get a load of porn links? I've got 52 best front yard and backyard landscaping ideas. I doubt that's what you want us to watch. Where will we find this? On YouTube. All right, let me try and search on YouTube.
Yeah. Let's see here.
3 hours and 38 minutes.
Good fucking lord, son.
Dude, if this is as bad as $5 wrestling, this will be a permanent ban from suggesting stuff. If you make me watch a 3.5 hour show, but are you down with that, Mr. Driver?
Let's see. 2 weeks to watch this. I think we can. I think I can get through this.
Okay. Best in the Yard 4. It is from VTW Wrestling featuring VT. Hang on, if it's VTW Wrestling, what does the extra W stand for? Anyway, VTW, UWE, DW, DBW, and KBW. So yeah, Swerve, were you even listening? Next week we're going to be doing a Rumble show. We'll be doing a show about the Rumble and the NXT Takeover. For the first hour, we'll be discussing the card ourselves, and then we'll be doing call-ins in the second hour. There we go. You got it a second time. So, not much really to report on the site.
Do you want to talk about the Woo Awards if we have time?
Oh, we can talk about the Woo Awards. Why not? Let's talk about the Woo Awards. I don't know who won, and
I've got all the results up. Apparently, it went up. Let's say about 30 minutes ago. Here are the Woo Awards for 2018, as posted by C. Higgy. The favorite streaming VOD service, winning with 46% of the votes, is NJPW World. Second place was WWE Network. DDT Universe was third. Global Wrestling Network and Dragon Gate round out the top 5. Favorite TV/series, documentary, or view of the year. 29.3% of the vote being the Elite.
We didn't even get nominated. How did we know?
Yeah,
We've been doing shows for so long and no one nominated us, guys. Come on.
Yeah, what the deuce?
What's going on? Total Divas got 11 votes and got nominated. Come on now.
Let's see. Favorite social media account of the year: Becky Lynch with 32% of the votes. Chuck Taylor, Dave Meltzer, Rusev, Dave Meltzer quotes, and Tommaso Ciampa round out the top 5.
No love for any of my bots. Disgusting.
Nope. Favorite podcast of the year: Wrestling Observer Radio, with no surprise there. Brian and Vinny with no surprise. Edge and Christian, Pod of Awesomeness, Filthy Four Daily, and Castrating the Marks.
No love for us again. Disgusting.
Favorite time of TV block of the year: the Monday Night Wars. So shout out to Bernie for that. I try to catch that whenever possible. NXT Tube, Lucha Tube, Joshi Tube, Puro Tube, and Dragon Gate Tube round out the top 5. Favorite time of TV moment of the year goes to the WoW emote.
Wow.
Bobby Lashley's ass, watching Pox return to Dragon Gate, watching AAA Triple Mania 25, Chuggo, come on, fuck a guy, and SEMA posting. Let's see, favorite Woo moment of the year: the fucking machine poster. The return, that's the winner. Return of Rumble in Your Bumble, Smack Chad, and Q&A with Manny Faberino. Round out the top 4, apparently. The buried stars of the year, with absolutely no surprise, the Revival wins that undistinguished award. Let's see.
No idea why Andrade got second place there with 78 votes. Do you guys not watch SmackDown?
Before now, he was kind of relegated way down there. CN, Wyatt, Balor, Owens, and Samoa Joe round out the top votes on that. The worst downfall of the year, and this is honestly kind of surprising on this, not for who won, but for who isn't on here. Big Cass wins 30.1% of the votes. Hiromu Takahashi, Roman Reigns, The Revival, and Shinsuke Nakamura round out the top 5. The one I'm totally surprised isn't on there is Enzo Amore.
Yeah, and James Ellsworth, arguably.
Yeah. Most overrated: Alexa Bliss wins that. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Braun Strowman, and Kenny Omega round out. Worst wrestling move of the year: winning by one single vote. So whoever says your vote doesn't matter, that's bullshit. Yeah. Nia Jax with a single punch.
Jesus.
Beat out Brie Bella's yes kicks. John Cena's lightning fist. Roman Reigns' Superman punch. And Nia Jax is on here a second time with her Samoan drop.
Jesus.
Worst title reign of the year: Brock Lesnar with the Universal Championship wins that one. Nia Jax with the Raw Women's title. Carmella with the SmackDown Women's title. Kenny Omega with the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Shinsuke Nakamura with the US title. And Roman Reigns with the Universal title are the top ones for that. Worst character gimmick of the year: Constable Baron Corbin wins that. Nia Jax with the face breaker. Drake Maverick piss her pants. Stephanie, Kona Reeves, Kenny Omega, and Shane McMahon round out the top ones. Worst storyline of the year.
Sorry, can I just interrupt you for one point? Whoever nominated Stephanie McMahon, okay, that's not a character or a gimmick. That is actually Stephanie McMahon.
Exactly.
So that should have been discounted, C. Higgy, okay?
All right, let's see here. Worst storyline / feud of the year: Bayley and Sasha Banks fake lesbian love angle wins that one. And these are actually kind of close. Lashley and Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin versus Raw, Styles and Nakamura, Jax, Alexa Bliss, Bryan, Big Cass. Those round out the top ones. I'm not going to read all of them. Worst entrance of the year: Dolph Ziggler wins that one. Nia Jax, Joey Ryan with the Penis Druids is number 3. B-Team, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel, and then Kenny Omega, Wrestle Kingdom 12. Y'all can shut your whore mouths on that
88 accounts clearly there from the followers of the Jim Cornette experience.
Exactly. Worst theme song of the year. This is not really shocking, but shocking that this is actually continuing to be at the top here. Brie Bella's Beautiful Life.
Yep.
Nia Jax, B Team, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns beat out the top 5. The Who Booked This Shit award. Not surprising whatsoever. Shane McMahon winning Best of the World tournament at Saudi Arabia. Drake Maverick pissing his pants. Charlotte taps and ends Asuka's undefeated streak. Ambrose and Rollins leading to a normal match at TLC. And Roman Reigns winning the Universal Championship at SummerSlam, all around out the top 5. Vic Award. Sami Zayn with Bobby Lashley's, quote, sisters. Overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
Over-fucking-whelmingly. Rollins blames Raw on Corbin. McMahon shake up WWE. Big Cass beats up a midget Daniel Bryan. And
I
anger
forgot
management.
about
Yeah. And anger management with the fake lesbians. Right out of the top 5. The worst online moment of the year, to no surprise, Tri-Moon passes away. Wins the worst one. Crown Jewel, journalist swarming women's division in New Japan, Leukemia, James Ellsworth, and Enzo Amore ran out the top 5. Worst match of the year, DX versus the Brothers of Destruction at Crown Jewel. Takes the top spot. Lesnar Reigns at WrestleMania, McMahon Ziggler at Crown Jewel, Ambrose Rollins at TLC, and Joe Reigns at Backlash.
Yeah.
Heroes of Wrestling, Crown Jewel with surprise wins that. Backlash, CZW Cage of Death, Greatest Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania 34 are the top 5 there. Let's see here. Worst weekly seasonal wrestling show. To no surprise, WWE Raw runs away with it. Fucking runs away with it. Championship Wrestling for Hollywood, NXT UK, Impact, and NXT rounded out. Worst promotion of the year. WWE is at number 1. $5 Wrestling is at number 2.
God damn it.
The Weep Whoop Award. Jonathan Coachman wins the worst announcer of the year. Michael Cole, Renee Young, Corey Graves, Josh Matthews at the top there. The worst in-ring non-wrestling figure of the year. El Hijo del Tirantes wins that one. JoJo, John Cone, Lillian Garcia, Mike Chioda rounds it out. Worst out-of-ring non-wrestling figure of the year goes to Stephanie McMahon, barely edging out Baron Corbin.
20
Brandy
votes on
Rhodes. Yeah. Brandy Rhodes and Shane and Vince rounded out. Worst in-ring wrestler of the year, to no surprise, Nia Jax. So congratulations. Brie Bella, Big Cass, Shane, and Baron Corbin rounded out. The least charismatic wrestler of the year goes to none other than Big Cass. Nia Jax, Corbin, Tamina, and Bobby Lashley rounded out. The worst tag team or stable of the year goes to the Lucha House Party. Somehow beating out the Colognes. Somehow. Last 3 are the Elite, B Team, and Glorious Gable, as I'm going to call them. Worst female wrestler of the year, no surprise, Nia Jax wins it. Worst male wrestler, Baron Corbin, barely edging out Shane McMahon. Breakout stars of the year, Becky Lynch. The other ones of note are Bandito, PCO, Jay White, Mustafa Ali, and Shun Skywalker. I'm getting down there. I don't bookmark that. Best comeback of the year, to no surprise, PCO. Daniel second, Pac, and Dean. Most underrated, Cien Almas. Looking sexy with that title in there. Cesaro, Gable, Han Page, and Mustafa Ali ran out the top 5. Wrestling move of the year goes to the One-Winged Angel. Pac's Black Arrow, the Rainmaker from Okada, the double rotation moonsault from Ricochet, and then Murphy's Law rounds out the top 5. Best title reign of the year. best title reign all years, Kazuchika Okada, IWGP Heavyweight Championship, runs away with it. Styles with the WWE Championship, LAX with the Impact World Tag Team titles, Daniel Bryan WWE Championship, and Masato Yoshida with the Open the Dream Gate Championship. Are the top 5 there. Best character, Becky Lynch, the Man, wins that one. PCO, New Daniel Bryan, Velveteen Dream, and Eddie Edwards wins that one. Best storyline, Gargano Ciampa is the winner of that one. Omega Okada, LAX versus the OGs, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Pentagon Jr., Sami Callihan round that out. Best entrance of the year goes to Velveteen Dream. His regular entrance beats out Tetsuya Naito and his Tokyo Dome entrance from Wrestle Kingdom 12. Joey Ryan from All In, Cody Rhodes from All In, and the Natural Vibes round out the top 5. And then finally, for the best theme song of the year, as far as C. Higgy's uploaded, nobody's surprise, Minoru Suzuki, Kaze ni Nare by Ayumi Nakamura wins that one. Nakamura's remixed theme is number 2. Jay White's Switchblade is number 3. Natural Vibes theme is number 4. And then Ciampa's theme is number 5. And that is your... Wait, there's a new one.
Oh.
The My Body Was Not Ready Award, Best Wrestling Moment of the Year. Kenny Omega wins the IWGP Heavyweight Championship at Dominion 6-9. Takes the top spot. Pac returns to Dragon Gate. Daniel Bryan turns heel to win the title. Daniel Bryan returns at WrestleMania. And Asuka winning the SmackDown Women's Championship are the top 5. And we'll go ahead and end that there, and we can go on later on.
I think there were about 50 awards this year. I remember when we first did it, it was like best and worst male, female, best match, worst match. And now it's become this mammoth beast.
Yeah, it's pretty much like how not the Grammys, but the Oscars usually went like best actor, supporting actor, yada yada yada. And now they're like the best ham sandwich and catering. Like literally, there's an Oscar for everything.
Yeah, we're gonna need 2 nights for this now. It's like New Japan. So Nia Jax and Baron Corbin, the runaway winners, I would say, this year, if you can call them winners of awards. I'm just going through here. It looks like I'm just trying to work out. That's 1, 2. Yeah, I think Nia's got at least 3 here, and Cass has got just 1.
At least 2.
At least 2. So 2. Yeah. So Nia Jax so far is the runaway winner at this year's or last year's Wii Awards, I should say. So a couple of bits of site news. I mean, I mentioned this last week. Badges are coming. Hoping to get them done for Rumble. Rumble Fujibet should go up probably Wednesday. I might put it up on... What I probably will do is I'll put it up on... maybe I'll put it up tonight. Maybe. I'll put it up, but I won't send the email round until Wednesday because plans change. And I know there was problems last year. I got a lot of complaints from people last year because a couple of people got moved from the Rumble a couple of days before. And whenever that happens, I reset everyone's picks. So you should get an email for it. And I would kind of argue it's your fault if you don't see the email that says you haven't completely filled it out and you think you have. No, that email will go out and tell you that you haven't picked everything. So, word of warning for everyone there. I think that's pretty much it. Simone Driver, do you want to plug your Insomniac Gamers?
Oh, yes. You can find me, first off, you can find me on Twitter, not at Samoan Driver, even though go ahead and link that, at the Tiger Oliver. That is my personal non-kayfabe Twitter page. You can follow what the fuck's going on in my boring-ass life. You can catch me on insomniacgamers.net or on twitch.tv/insomniacgamers12345. 24/7 streaming channel. I do a weekly wrestle show every Friday, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, IGWP, which is why I was kind of like tripping up on it earlier.
Nice.
2 hours of the greatest strong style pro wrestle on Twitch. Next week, we have the IG Rumble for the Royal Rumble. And then the following week, we have 3 nights of wrestling leading up to the IG anniversary. Chapter 75, Rasoru Kingdamu. I'll be on Sunday, February 3rd, and that'll be a 3-hour show. Let's see, where else can you find me? You can find me on Instagram, Tiger Oliver. You can also find me just herping about here on Discord, all that. So, yeah.
Awesome thoughts. Some fun wrestling to look forward to. Thank you very much, everyone, for stopping by. If you're not already following us on social media, go and find us on Twitter at LOL Wrestling. You can join our lovely Discord. If you're currently on Twitch and don't know how to find our Discord, just hit the exclamation mark Discord and come and find us. We have, I'd like to say we have less Russian sex bots than we did before. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I imagine it's a good thing. We currently have a thing at the moment now where you have to wait 10 minutes before you post just to make sure, and only a certain number of people can, a certain group of people can post embedded links. But once we get to know you and you said hi and you've lurked for a bit, I'll chuck you into the group of gentlemen and you can join us. Don't forget to visit our site, of course, www.LOLWrestling.com. Been renewed for its, I want to say its 5th year. It's probably more than that. Been going for a very long time now. And you can find me at red_Reddington on Twitter. And 50th year, yeah. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter and you can watch me rant about Brexit and other things and occasionally post shit. What the fuck is that, Swerveface? Oh, you're going to get banned from this now. So
You're just digging your grave, man. You're just fucking digging your grave.
So we will be back next week. We're going to do 1 hour talking about TakeOver and Rumble. If you want to call in and talk about those two shows, the second hour will be dedicated to talking about that. And then the week after that, we will do the kind of regular format of the show. Lord knows how I am going to try and cover a 3.5 hour show of Yard Tards, but I am sure I'm going to enjoy it more than I did most of the stuff I saw today. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you very, very soon. Bye-bye.
Deuces.